Alrighty, so if you didn't know, tonight on ESPN, there's a 30 for 30 for Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire's home run race in 1998. This isn't like an ad for them or anything, but the video is around that scenario. So basically what happened was in 1998, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were like back and forth for home runs. And eventually one of them set the home run record in Mark McGwire, where he had 70 home runs. Obviously, it was beat by Barry Bonds, but at the time, that was the record. So the both of them went back and forth, literally until like the last 2 days of baseball, and it was insane. For me growing up, probably one of the most exciting times I've had watching baseball, just to see that history being made between those two players. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate that. One, in the 1998 season with 1998 rosters, and two, we're going to see if Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire can do the same in today's baseball. So we're going to have two different simulations, see how it works out, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do, thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content, and of course, get in the comment section. Do you think we will ever see the home run record broken again? Do you think it's possible? For me, I don't think we will, but I could be wrong. So we'll have to wait and see. So again, guys, I hope you do enjoy the video. If you missed the last video, it's up here in the top corner. Go and give it a watch. It was a Blue Jays rebuild with their new draft pick, Austin Martin. And of course, all social media links are down in the description below. Go and give them a follow. So let's hop into it. The team that I suggest, or that I use, doesn't matter. I'm using the Cubs. I'm going to take off CPU trading so that we don't have any players changed. And the roster that I'm using, it's literally, I just typed in the search bar 1998, and then I just took the one that had the highest amount of downloads. So there you go. Whatever you can do to find that. It's pretty simple, right? So here we are, 1998, and clearly Sammy Sosa was the guy that, kind of stood out. So, you can see his stats on screen now. Stats really aren't too important with this. What I'm trying to see is, can he break that record? So you guys saw Sammy Sosa. Let's hop over, see Mark McGwire. Obviously he's gonna have those home run stats, and I mean, even the Cardinals, they look okay. The Lino Shields senior, Fernando Tatis senior as well, and there we go, the two guys in action. I guess we could kind of see who also was like number one and number two at the time, just so that you guys can kind of get an idea, since I'm assuming not a lot of you may have like been around this time. Like for me, I was like six years old, so like this is like really reaching back for like my memory bank. So the Yankees and the Red Sox, yeah, makes a lot of sense, as they were kind of the two top teams at the time. So we'll take a look at the Yankees lineup. So you had Jeter, Raines, Bernie Williams, who I think is like super underrated, man. He had a phenomenal career. Tino Martinez, Paul O'Neill, Darryl Strawberry, Scott Brocious, Jorge Posada, and then of course Chuck Knobloch. And then when you hop over to the Red Sox, you have Cummings, Benjamin, you got Nomar, Mo Vaughn, O'Leary, Bragg, Hatterberg, Bufford, and John Valentine. So, or Valentine, whichever it is. So yeah, that's the teams. And like I said, I'm kind of interested to see how this all plays out. Can Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire break the home run record in 1998, and see how they kind of go back and forth? And then of course we're going to put those two guys in their respective teams in 2020 and see if they can break the record there. So here we go, first season. Let's see what happens. All right, so we're at the deadline, so just around the halfway point of the season, and I kind of want to get a little peek, see who is kind of at the top of the league for home runs and everything like that. Barry Bonds was in the league, of course, and I think it was 3 years after this season that Barry Bonds went to go break the home run record. So Mark McGwire's claim to fame was pretty short, but still impressive nonetheless. So here we go. We've got 32 home runs for Juan Gonzalez and A-Rod, who's still with the Mariners at this point. You got Delgado, Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey was actually in the race with McGwire and Sosa as well up until about July point, and then all of a sudden he just kind of started to fall off compared to the other guys. So let's see what the other side of the league looks like. We've got 47 for Vinny Castilla. Really? Okay. And then McGwire with 28, and then Sammy Sosa 25. So unless they really pop off for the end of the season, it doesn't look like it. But Vinny Castilla might be someone who breaks the home run record. He actually was somebody that was in the race towards the end of the year as well. I think he was tied with Sammy Sosa at one point, and then Mark McGwire overtook both of them, and then Vinny Castilla fell off. So there's that. Let's sim the rest of the season. Crazy that Vinny Castilla is at the top and the other two guys are pretty low, but let's see how it finishes out. All right, season is over, and I'm intrigued to see how this played out, because unless the two popped off, I don't think they're gonna break the home run record. Definitely don't. But there were a couple people who were pretty close. So look, before we even hop into it, you may have seen who had like the home runs and everything really quickly. But let's just take a look. Let's see if we had anybody close. So home runs, 51 for A-Rod. So that was definitely pretty close. If I switch it over, is it gonna go to the top of the list? It did. Vinny Castilla finished with 58, which wasn't too far off, but he looked like he definitely had a colder second half of the season. But Mark McGwire had, what, 23 second half of the season. Sammy Sosa really cooled off, and that's super disappointing to see. So let's take a look at their years in total. They're not bad seasons. 38 home runs, 38 doubles, 100 thick RBIs, 136 RBIs, and I mean that's a pretty solid season regardless of even though he didn't break the home run record. And then of course Mark McGwire's up there. He had 48 home runs, 26 doubles, 108 RBIs, and that's a really good year. So there we go. That is our first attempt to break the record. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take both of those players, put them into 2020, and let's sim it out. Let's see if they can break the home run record in 2020, or even come close to it, or see if they lead the league. Basically, I want to see how they do for putting them in 2020. So let's do it. I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, it's time for the 2020 sim. See if we can get both of them to at least come close to like the top of the home run charts. That'd be nice. So as you can see, Sammy Sosa is a 96. Not the same version of Sammy Sosa. I think the hitting stats are a little different, just a little bit, but I still think they're pretty close to the other version that we used. I guess if I really wanted to make it like legit, I could have just copied the same ones, but they look the same. They're pretty close. I don't think there's too much difference between the two, but you guys can see the stats there. You guys can see what they're both looking like, and we'll see how they do in this sim, see if they actually break the home run record. So I'm excited for it. I want to see how they would do in this, and for me, let's see if they can beat the 73 home run single season record set by Barry Bonds, or even the 70 home run record. That would have been an impressive feat to see. So let's see what we could do. I think we've only seen it in like 3 or 4 rebuilds where a player actually cracked like the 70 home run mark, and I think it was always Jordan. So to see somebody else do it would be really nice. So let's see what we can do. I'll see you guys at the end of this sim. Alrighty, so again, we're gonna stop at the trade deadline day. It's pretty much the halfway point of the season, and let's take a look and see who's at the top of the charts for home runs. Trout is with 34. Let's take a look. Let's check out this National League home run chart, and Mark McGwire's up there with 39. So he's gonna have to have a really good second half of the season to get there, but I mean, it's possible. Sammy Sosa's at 28, so he's really gonna have to pop off to make that happen, and we'll see. Mark McGwire definitely has the best chance of doing it, but we'll have to wait and see. So just about 50 games left, so I mean, it's definitely possible for them to get that mark, but we're really gonna have to see some crazy stats towards the end of this season to make it happen. So maybe we'll check in with like 2 weeks left, or maybe like a month left, just to kind of get an idea of where they're at, kind of keep up with that race and things like that. So let me sim the next month, see how things go, and we'll check the stats again. So with the month left, we're sitting at 43 and 34. So McGwire's added 4 to his total, and then Sosa's added 5 to his total. So I think Sosa's out of the race, because I mean, when you look at the last month of the season, as we walk into September, unless he pops off for like 2 home runs a game, I don't think that's happening. And McGwire still needs like, what, 27? So I mean, that's like a home run a day. So I don't think they're cracking it, which is disappointing to see, but let's see how close they can get to it. Final month, Let's sim it out. Let's see what the final totals are, because I'm still pretty interested to see, even if maybe they crack 60, 63, 64. That's still an impressive mark. So let's see what happens. Alrighty, so here we go. Final tally. How is this going to finish? And I'm kind of intrigued. Actually, let's do this. Let's just go to the lineups and see how it goes. So Sammy Sosa, I'm assuming, finished behind Mcgwire. So let's see where he finished on the season. And here we go. 36 home runs. I mean, it's not a terrible amount of home runs per season. 33 doubles as well, just under 100 RBIs. He had a good year, almost a 280 average and a 900 OPS, but not what we were looking for. So now it's time to look at Mark Mcgwire, obviously towards the top of the charts. I think he was #1 for almost the entire season. So you have Tommy Edman, and this is going to be Mark Mcgwire. Let's see where he finished for the season. 48. That's tough. So a 1020 OPS, I mean, that's a gross year though. Like, that's a really good year. So even though he may not have cracked 50 home runs and may not even come close to the home run total that we were looking for, still had a really solid season. So there we are. Let's take a look and see if anybody overtook them in the home run total. 48 for Mcgwire and 48 for Trout. So they both finished at the same amount. And that's really about it, guys. Unfortunately, no one was able to break the record. And I mean, they didn't really even come close, which is a little disappointing. But again, I want to know in the comment section, do you think there is anybody in the league right now who can crack that 70 home run total, or even break the record at 73? So I guess they would need 74. But do you think it's possible in today's baseball? I know there's this whole argument about juiced baseballs, but you got to think, if the baseballs are juiced when you make really good contact, aren't the pitchers kind of getting an advantage too with that nasty pitch movement that they're getting? So I think it's harder to hit a baseball, but when you get that contact, of course it's going to fly. So we'll see. I definitely think there's an argument for both cases. I don't think it's possible to break that home run record anymore. I think pitching is getting better. I think there's just too many variables for it to happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Go check out that Long Gun Summer 30 for 30. I definitely am. It's going to be super exciting to kind of get everyone's perspective as I drop my controller. Everyone's perspective about that whole thing. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of steroid talk in there as well. So here we go. I hope you did enjoy the video. And that's about it, guys. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoy MLB content. And of course, get in the comment section like I've already mentioned. I'm going to leave you guys with 2 videos. Go check them out if you haven't yet. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.